Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Quarantine Bunker. I am your man in Japan, Jay Contra, here with another narration, voiceover video, whatever this thing is. Please bear with any technical difficulties. I'm trying a whole new setup this time. Hopefully there won't be any dropped frames. Hopefully we don't have any problems other than my weird narration. I'm just going to start it now. This is at the Hard Off in Hisayama. It's in Fukuoka Prefecture. I was out there visiting my girlfriend and helping her move out of her apartment. And they have a pretty extensive selection, but their prices are a bit out of control. We'll get to that. So what we're looking at here is the showcase. This whole video should be just the showcase. We're starting off with the Super Famicom games. At the top left, it's like Hyperia or Hyperia. Hyperia? I don't know how to pronounce that. It's $400. First thing you need to look at, you've got the two prices listed on the sticker. And I'm not going to try and zoom in here, so please forgive me. But you've got the price on the bottom, which is the price before tax. And then the big price, the price on the top of the sticker, which is the price after tax. Japan has 10% sales tax. And it really depends on the shop that you go to what price will be displayed. You'd have to have a little bit of knowledge of kanji in order to figure out what it means. I don't know what Hyperia. I haven't heard of the game. Apparently, it must be quite rare if they're charging $400 for it. Please also excuse my math. I think at the time of recording, the yen is about 108 yen to the dollar. So, I'm just going to go 110 to the dollar. Next, we've got to its right, we've got Sparkster for the Super Famicom. That's going for about $150, give or take. We've also got Final Fight Guy on the right in the orange box. Now, here's the thing about Final Fight Guy. So, I'm a huge fan of the Final Fight series. I haven't played Guy yet, but it is I'd say the right below Final Fight Tough. It is the hardest to find and second most expensive game in the series for the Super Famicom. It is an interesting title because, for one, it is, I believe, a remake, sort of the first Final Fight, and it also comes with a CD. Now, with the CD, interestingly enough, this one here does not have the CD. I have found copies of this in Akihabara for about $90 with the CD, with a little bit of wear and tear. This copy of Final Fight Guy here does not have the CD, and they're charging $100 for it. So that's a little bit overpriced. I would not buy this particular copy if you're in the market for Final Fight Guy. Right beneath it, we've got, I guess that's Super Pitfall going for $200. Crazy, absolutely insane. Next to it, we've got Contra Spirits, absolutely phenomenal. Can't believe that Contra Spirits is still only going for $80. It hit this a while back, and that's actually a fairly good price. Compare that with not Super Contra, but Super C. I guess Super Contra. I don't know. Sorry, Super C and the original Contra, which complete in box can easily be over $200. Next to that, we've got Rockman and Forte, which looks like it's going for 8,000 yen, so about $80. Not bad. A little bit pricey. We've also got Jikyo Parodius. It's one of the Parodius shooters for the Super Famicom, going for $80. We've got Sailor Moon, Another Story, which is going for $45. I've played a couple of the Sailor Moon games, can't tell you much about it. And then we've got a Hudson game that I don't recognize on the bottom right, going for $4,000. Moving right along towards the bottom of this Super Famicom showcase, we got a whole lot more games, much cheaper and a little bit more reasonable. We've got Urudora no I forgot how to read that kanji. It's like the Secret Treasure of Urudora. That's going for $45. That's a Squaresoft game. I wonder if that was one of the later Squaresoft games that didn't get released because they were immediately switching over from the Super Famicom to the PlayStation. Same goes for Live Alive, which is another sort of expensive one that didn't come out in the US. We've got Super Metroid going for $40. That's actually nowadays not a terrible price, but I would hope for it to be in the $20 or $30 range. Next, we've got Rockman 7 going for $45, Rockman 7, great Rockman game. Can't go wrong with it. 45 is actually not bad for a complete in-box copy. It's got a little bit of edge wear, but it's like whatever. Doesn't matter. Next, we've got, I want to say this is the board game Goemon. So there's like three sort of mainline Goemon games that came out for the Super Famicom. This, I believe, is the multiplayer board game one, like Mario Party. It's going for $40. I can't tell you if that's good or not. We've got Rockman X3 for $30? Complete in box? That's really, really good. If it doesn't say that it's missing the manual. Usually, this is what I would expect if it's missing something. Or is that X2? Even X2. Any of the X games for $30 completed box is incredibly phenomenal. So I would absolutely buy this. I wish I actually had bought this. But I've already got the cartridge of it, so whatever. Then we got Goemon 2 going for $35. A little bit pricey, even when you compare it to Akihabara. We've also got Joe and Mac for $60. Ranma 1/2 going for $30. I'm just going to kind of skip over the games that I don't know much about because I can't give you a whole lot of information on that unless I have some references, price references. What have we got? I can't tell what that one is. We got Mickey Mania going for $30. Cho Makai Muda, that's like Super Ghosts and Goblins, going for $30. Not bad in the box. Normally it's like a $10, $20 game loose. We've got the Mario Collection going for, is that $50? I can't tell on the monitor. Sorry, it's too small. If it's $50, that's crazy. This is like a $20 game at most, especially when you're in a hard off. You shouldn't be paying more than, I would say, maximum $30 for the Mario Collection complete. We've also got, is that Adventure Island? Can't tell. That's going for $30. A couple copies of that. So $30, not bad. I mean, sometimes they just find a Super Famicom game and they kind of have just different levels of price that they will give things. They won't necessarily price things individually. They will, or, based on the title, it'll just be in a category and they're like, okay, this is $30. Fine. What have we got? We've got Record of the Lotus War going for $60. I've heard of it before. I couldn't tell you what it is. We've got Oni by band Presto that's going for $30. I want to say the Game Boy one is very hard to find. There's like I think there's a Game Boy one that's like, it's either number 4 or it's a collection of all 4. It can get a little bit pricey. We've got some of the Kunio-kun. We got the Dodgeball that's going for $35. These are all the Famicom games, by the way. Here we go. Whatever that one is, I don't know. Then we've got Rockman 6 complete in box going for 6,000 yen, and it does not have the manual. So keep that in mind. That's actually a bit pricey. If it had the manual, 6,000 would be, I think, a bit above average, but without the manual, it's not worth buying. Then we've got Super Mario Bros. 3 going for $25. That's not bad. Wish it was $20, but $25 is still really good for something that looks in really good shape. We've also got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 going for $9,000. This is one of those games where it's a $20 game if it's loose most places, and then the box price is really out of control. $9,000. I couldn't tell you if that's a good price or not. Then we've got 2 copies of Rockman 2. Now here we've got 2 different prices, and here's why. The copy on the right does not have the manual, and it has some damage to the box. That means on the left, you've got a decent condition box. Looks like it might have some tape on it from when it was originally purchased. That's going for $150. That's pretty good. A lot of the Mega Man games have decreased in price over the last 1 or 2 years. And so this used to be a $200 game, especially at this particular shop. I remember seeing one for like forever sitting in the showcase. Now it's down to $150. I think even compared to Akihabara, that's an okay price. And if you don't want the manual for $100, okay, sure. Or you could just buy the cartridge for like $20, like even less than that, maybe $15. Oh, here we got a bunch more Mega Man cartridges. Okay, we got a lot of Famicom cartridges here. Nothing super rare, but interesting nonetheless. We've got Battle City going for $45. Crisis Force, fantastic shooter. I think it's a Konami vertically scrolling shooter. Great. $75. A little bit expensive. Wish it was about $50. We've got Rockman. This is the story of Rockman is really illustrative of the Famicom as a whole because this game used to be going for 6,000 yen easily. It used to be going for $60. Here it's going for $30. That's an incredible drop in price, even at a place that is overpriced, like this particular hard off. Next, we've got the very same. I thought, is that Turtles 2 or is that Turtles 1? I can't tell from the glare. But that's going for 35. The game in white that I don't recognize, DuckTales 2, is going for $25. Then we've got Rockman 6 going for 25 loose. I think it's Rockman 1 and 6 for some reason that are very expensive or relatively expensive compared to the others because most of the other Rockman games, my girlfriend is shaking her head yes, those normally go for like 2,000. I would even say 1,500 or even 1,000. I'd say less than 1,000, particularly for like 3 and 4, the really cheap ones. We've also got Layla, which is going for is that 35? Yeah, it's like 35. That's I think somewhat sought after. I think the completed box copies can go for easily $100 in Akihabara. Then we've got a game I can't see because of the brightness levels. A few games I don't recognize. Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Goblins, whichever one it is, that's going for $25. That one in the white, we've got Gradius. Is that Gradius 3? No, that must be regular Gradius. 35 for Gradius? It's not. Gradius isn't that rare of a game. I wouldn't pay $35 for it. Maybe 15 at most. Then we've got Contra, two really good copies of Contra. This is the Japanese version of Contra, for some reason has really retained its value compared to the American version, I believe. And so this is going for 5,000 yen. It has not gone down in price, unlike Mega Man for whatever reason. Maybe it's I wonder if it's because the Mega Man games might have gone down because they released the Switch collections and the PS4 collections. It seems to me that when games get released in a collection for modern consoles, that it actually reduces the prices on the old games for whatever reason. Whereas you'd think at least for me, whenever a collection would come out, it would actually generate interest in the old stuff. But for some reason in Japan, it has the opposite effect. Rounding out the Famicom games, is that Solomon's Key 2? I can't tell what the price is. It's very lightly printed. And then a few other games that I don't recognize, so I can't tell you about those. So let's move on. What else are we going to see? I think we might see... here are the loose Super Famicom games with a couple boxed Famicom games. So what are we looking at? We've got Circus Charlie. It has some damage to the box. Apparently some water damage too. So it's going for 5,000 yen, even in its damaged state. We've also got Dragon Ball going for $25. Next to it, we've got Godzilla and the Decisive Battle of the Kaiju. I don't know what that is in English. That's going for 25. Go-Go Ackman 2, 25. R-Type 3 going for 50. That's not bad. Whoa, oh my god. So they've got Kiki Kai Kai Nazo no Kuromanto, which is Pakinraki 1, and they want $150. That is some noise right there. Okay, I bought my copy of Kiki Kai Kai Pakinraki back a couple years ago for $50. That was a good price. I actually just saw this in Akihabara for like $90. So $150, no way, do not buy that. We've got 3 copies of Terranigma going for 3,000 a piece. That's what I would pay if it was complete in box, not if it was loose. Then we've got Super Contra, or Contra 4, I think is the English name. That's going for 3,000 yen. I'd like to see it in $10 or $20. ActRaiser for I believe $20. Game I don't recognize. We got Terminator 2 going for $30. Choaniki, the burly man shooter, going for $30 as well. It's a Sonic Blast Man. Can't tell if it's 1 or 2. Hopefully I zoom in on this. Let's see where I go. I've shot a lot more of these reaction videos. Actually, hold on. Let's see if we can go back a little bit. I apologize for that. I thought I would get in closer. We've got... No, yeah, I guess not. Okay. looking at this top level here, and maybe I'll zoom in if I was a smart boy. I shot this like 2 months ago. So let's see. We've got A Link to the Past complete in box. That's going for 30. Not terrible. Wish it was a little bit cheaper. We've got Zenki going for 30 as well, and then one of the Mobile Suit Fighting games by Band Presto. I can't read katakana sideways. Sorry. That's going for $50. Didn't know it was that rare. Then we've got Predator going for, is that $70? I guess it is $70. Okay. Or no, that's Aliens versus Predator. Excuse me. Then we've got Rockman and Forte going for $30. Not terrible. We've got Street Fighter Alpha 2 for $30. Capcom game. Is that Knights of the Round? You know, I see Knights of the Round all over the place. I actually don't know what it is. I actually want to look into that because it looks cool. We've got another copy of R-Type 3 going for $50. A Fireman going for what I think is $25. We've got game I don't recognize by Capcom. Super Aleste for $45. Yeah, maybe if it was 40, it'd be okay. Then we've got Axley. How much do they want for Axley? No. Okay, I have to be reading that wrong, because if they want $100 for Axley, which I think is what's written there, someone will surely correct me in the comments. I apologize. I can't enhance the image. Axley is maybe a $30 game. Even complete in box is actually not that expensive. The price delta on it is not huge. We've also got Prince of Persia and a few other games that I can't recognize. A loose copy of Parodius as well. But just look at this. This hard off has always shocked me, and I wonder if the reason they have all of these games here is because the prices are so high. You have to remember that even if a shop does have expensive prices, at least they have the game. So if you want the game and you're willing to pay a premium, if your time money value is what it is, then yeah, you can come here and find the games that you want. Because if the games were cheap, they wouldn't have anything. So just keep that in your mind when you're trying to really actually assign a value to a game beyond just its price in dollars or yen. Some very interesting games here. We're actually going to start in the middle with Sonic Adventure. These are two. They appear to be the same, but you might have noticed the small difference. On the left, actually no, let's start on the right. On the right is the release Sonic Adventure. This was, I believe, a release game or, release window game for the Dreamcast, and that's priced at $8. Look on the left, that is Sonic Adventure International. It is one of the things like what Square did with Final Fantasy 7 and 10 and 12. They released the game in America, and when they localize it, they actually have a bunch of bug fixes. So what do? They eventually released that version with Japanese and the bug fixes, maybe some extra content, and they released that in Japan a year or two later. I actually don't know the exact release date. Interestingly enough, they're both the same price at $8. It's actually been a while since I've looked at Sonic Adventure, so I'm not sure if that's a good price or not. We also have, on the top right, is a Sega Saturn game I don't recognize. I want to say that's the first Layer section. I can't remember the cover difference between 1 and 2. Layer section is a great shooter by Taito. It also came out for the PlayStation. It's going for $15. The label on it says that there is a scratch on the disc. A small scratch, but a scratch nonetheless. We've also got Shining Force 4 going for $20. We have a Mobile Suit game going for $8. Very interesting. We've got Super Back to the Future for $220 after tax. That is a Japan exclusive Super Famicom game. It's something that I've been looking for loose. I'd say loose, $60 to $80, $200 for a complete in-box copy. It looks really, really good in terms of condition. Maybe. Then we've got on the bottom right Super Mario RPG going for the absurd price of $35. I would not pay more. In Tokyo, I wouldn't pay more than $15. If I was at a hard off like this, I would not pay more than $10, $15 if you're really desperate. I don't think it's gone up in price that much in the last few years because they printed tons of it in Japan, as opposed to in America where it didn't have a lot of copies. Even a loose copy is going for, I think, still going for $40 now. And then we've got a couple of MSX games, but I don't know about the MSX a whole lot, so I can't comment on those. Let's continue to the other part of the showcase. Yeah, let's go up. More Sega Saturn games. Quite the variety. We have an $80 Sega Saturn game, which, so very interesting what they've said here. I don't know what the game is itself, but you can notice the red text on the bottom of the game in the top left of the screen that you're looking at right now. It says that it's talking about the disc, but not the data side, but but I believe it's talking about the printed, like the art side of it. It's got some kind. I think that's what it means. It could mean the opposite. I apologize, but it has a scratch somewhere on the disc, and it's still going for $80. So I wonder how much it would be going for if it was in like good condition. Next, we've got Tomb Raider 4, The Last Revelation, that also has a scratch on the disc, and it's going for $10. Up at the top right, we've got a Sega strategy game. I can't tell what system that is for. It might be for the Mega CD. That's going for $50. We've got the Twin Bee Deluxe Pack going for $20. We also have the IREM Arcade Classics going for $35. Now, I just mentioned a little bit back ago talking about the compilation games. Weirdly enough, the compilation games that have been released for older systems, this is true of like the Saikyo games, a lot of these older compilations, like you just saw it with the Mario collection. For some reason, I thought these would just be super cheap always, because who's going to want what is essentially a ROM collection for an older system? You're playing older games on a slightly less old system. They can actually be priced incredibly high. You see it with some of the Metal Slug games. Like, you look at that copy of Metal Slug on the bottom left for the Sega Saturn. That is going for $100. And it is just a ROM port. Like, you could find Metal Slug for the Neo Geo CD for like $150, $200. Okay, if you really want the Sega Saturn version, then fine. As for the other games, the Mega Man collections, I don't think they will stand the test of time in terms of value, just because they printed so many of them. But I would be very interested to see what is being released for the Switch now. I would love to see what the values on those collections look like 20 years from now. We also have a Sega Saturn memory cartridge with no price, which is really annoying. It's something they often do in not just hard off, but in Japanese shops in general. They'll just be like, throw this in the showcase. Doesn't matter if people don't see the price. I guess if you have to ask about the price for a Sega memory cartridge, then you can't afford it, even though I wouldn't pay more than, I guess it's in black. I don't know if that means that it's more valuable, but would not pay over $10, maybe $20 for one of those memory cartridges. Depending, I think some of them might have different sizes. I'm not sure. We've also got Taco no Marine, which is going for $40. I can't tell what that system is for. Might be Dreamcast. Might be Dreamcast. And then we've got a PC game on the bottom right going for $40, but I'm not familiar with it. Let's see what's up on top. It looks like we've got some MSX games. No, excuse me. Okay, all right. Yeah, this is absolutely crazy. We've got there right in the center, you'll see it with the Azel. It's the Sega Saturn. Or Zel, I don't know how to pronounce the Japanese one. That is Panzer Dragoon Saga. Now, we all know, well, okay, if you didn't know, Panzer Dragoon Saga for the Sega Saturn in English is an incredibly expensive game. I remember when I knew about it years ago, it was like $400 or $500. I can't even imagine what it costs now. The Japanese version, on the other hand, is extremely cheap. It got printed in very high qualities compared to the English version, so without the spine cover, I've seen it go even in Akihabara for $30. Now, the key difference here is that this is, one, in good condition, and two, has the spine cover. Virtually all, if not all, of CD-based games in Japan, I'm talking Neo Geo CD, Sega Saturn, PlayStation, you name it, and I'm talking about CD-based games in the small covers. This does not count for DVD-based games. But for CD-based games, they all came with a spine cover because that's just what Japan did with CDs. And it also goes for music as well. These spine covers for very expensive games, this thin piece of paper can be worth anywhere from, in the case of a cheap game, $1 or $2, to a very expensive game where it could easily alter the price of a game by 100, if not hundreds of dollars. For Panzer Dragoon Saga, I don't see why this is priced at $120. Even with the spine cover is not worth that much. I wouldn't pay over $40 for a mint copy of this. Looking at the right, we've got Skies of Arcadia. This is for the Dreamcast, going for $20. Wish it was just a little bit cheaper, but not a terrible price if you really want the game. Beneath it, we've got, I think that's another copy of ActRaiser. That's going for $25. Guess it couldn't fit in the other Super Famicom case. Also got another copy, a loose copy of Oni, going for $40. And we also have, oh, that's my timer telling me we've got a few minutes left. But we have Parodius going for $30. And we also have, is that Operation Wolf? I can't tell what that game is. It's going to be a shooter going for $80 for the Mega Drive. Lots of Mega Drive shooters are really expensive. This is going to be another one of them. And then what looks like a very cutesy version of Splatterhouse. Is that Splatterhouse? Hold on. I wonder, am I going to zoom in closer because I can't tell from the glare? Yeah, it looks like Splatterhouse. Okay, so I've been going for 25 minutes, and we've got a lot more showcase here. So I'm going to take a break. I need to go get some water. I'm going to be cutting it here. I hope you will join me. I have actually filmed a lot of videos in this particular hard-off, so we're going to be diving deep. This is going to be part of a series, and I think a whole new format where I can unleash and give you all of the knowledge that I have on all of this stuff. Please let me know what you think about the new format. And stay tuned. I think the video that will come out, the next in this series will come out, I'm guessing 2 weeks from now. So I have been your man in Japan, Jay Contra, saying thanks for watching, see you next time, and mahalo.